Welcome to the party, Propulsion Wizards. We're here at the UAP Hackathon. I got in last night. I'm staying with Jared and Mark and Tim Ventura. Right now, we are headed up at the propulsion table. There looks like there's a bunch of different tables, and they're all different sections in here for the different areas of discussion. People coming in and out. Danny Sheen and Jesse Michaels and Deep Prasad were here earlier. I think they have stepped out. I'm not sure where they are right now. There's been not really any speakers. They have like this section here, but so far it's just been Deep Prasad gave a 20-minute speech introducing the conference and just kind of it's just not really maybe a conference or a hackathon. But nobody else has gone up there and presented anything yet. I don't know if I'll get a chance. I kind of put a small presentation together. I also have my other presentation that I put together 2 years ago for the Secret Space Technologies Conference that I could give here as well. I think that might be cool. So, but right now it's just kind of people hanging out. We got the Danny Sheen and his people are here with the New Paradigm Institute. They have a table here with their 40 whistleblowers and counting. I told them I'd sign up and be one of their whistleblowers too. Heck, I have enough experience and have talked to enough people. Citizens for Disclosure, I'm down with that. This is the main aircraft hangar for the USS Hornet here in Alameda, California. So we're going to go check out some of the other sections they got here. This one is biologics. People that are not really too many people here discussing that in this section. But we got the humanity soft landing people. They're developing an open source decentralized UAP data acquisition platform, which we'll come back and talk to those guys and try to make the rounds here and see who's doing what. We also got some of the Skywatchers people here. I haven't seen Jake Barber. I don't know if he's coming here, but we got some of the Skywatcher crew here. These guys that are doing something similar, tracking camera systems for recording and capturing, but optics is a key part of this whole thing. And then we have material science and a psionics section over here. So you guys see, it looks like, yeah, the alt propulsion section is popping, but they got all kinds of stuff here, man. People talking. They got even the people that are with those bodies from Peru that they think are aliens and stuff. Pretty neat. Yeah, I don't know, about like 200, maybe almost 200 people, maybe tops were here. There's people coming in and out, but yeah, this place is cool. I'm going to show you guys around this aircraft hangar. This is the main bay door for the aircraft hangar, and this is actually a giant elevator. This thing out here is a giant elevator that lifts up. You can put a plane on this elevator and lift it all the way up to the flight deck up there, up above. And the pigeon just hanging out up there in the hole. But yeah, this thing's a giant elevator. There's the bay doors. Freaking aircraft carrier, man. Yeah. Well, we're going to wait for Deep Prasad and Jesse Michaels and Danny Sheen to get back here. We're going to go take a walk around, and I'll show you guys some more. This is the other hangar bay. Look at this. You guys, if anyone's in San Francisco today, man, you guys got to get down here to the USS Hornet and check this out. Anyone in the area, please come check this out. We got that up above is the runway. That's the actual flight deck above us, man. so cool. There's all kinds of stuff underneath the ship, and giant hangar space in here. They fit all these aircraft. There's a damn space capsule in here. These freaking helicopters. What the flight deck? Oh, I think the flight deck is up here. This is actually, they have a Westinghouse escalator in here for getting the pilots sleep down in that quarters there. That's where all the pilots sleep, would be right down there. And if they get scrambled, they have to literally get dressed and run up here, and they have an escalator to help them get up to the flight deck even faster, which is cool. An escalator built inside the aircraft carrier. It's not on right now, but it does still work. This thing's from the 1940s, and the escalator still works, man. They had it running earlier. I don't know why I shut it off now. But hey. All right, guys. We're gonna go through here because people's privacy, the families are here and everything. But yeah, check this out, guys. Look at this view. How's the connection coming through? Are we still streaming, man? Yeah, see, there's people out here. You're 5 miles away, man. Oh, I'd come down. There's Mount San Bruno Mountains, San Bruno State Park, right over there. There's San Francisco across the bay with the Bay Bridge. Say hi, we're live.
Hi.
We're live on YouTube.
Good. USS Hornet, so much fun.
Oh yeah, come down, guys. Get down here if you're in the area. This is so super fun. I'm gonna back up so you can actually see the control tower that I'm standing next to. That's what I just climbed down. Heck yeah. Live on YouTube. Check this out. We're in Alameda, California, live at the UAP Hackathon hosted by Deep Prasad. There's some motorcycle people learn how to ride motorcycles over there. Give you a nice slow 360. Yeah, this is beautiful. Nice. It was a little cloudy this morning. The clouds have cleared up. We got blue skies above. So yeah, guys, beware jet blasts and propeller rotor blades. Man, they'll chop your head off or blow you right off the flight deck. Heck yeah, I wish I could go up in there, man. Look at that controls tower up there. The viewports and stuff. How you doing, guys?
What's up?
We're live on YouTube now. I got 68 people watching us, man.
Hey.
Yeah, I told them to come on down. Yeah, join the party, man. It's a good time. These guys know, man. They give awesome tours here. They're super knowledgeable, super nice, friendly, man. It's great. This is an awesome time. Thank you, guys. Yeah. This is awesome. What a great job, man. This is awesome. Here, guys. Shall we go down? Look at this electrical. Look at these wiring, dude. Look at that. Imagine being the electrician on this boat, having to fix all that. Crazy. When you go down here and see all this stuff, I came down there already. Ooh. Yeah, guys, this is super cool. There's an engine room and you get good reception in the boat too, man. Pretty cool. They got all these displays and talking about this is where we are. So this is where we are. I'll give you guys a map and a general idea. We're right here in the Port of Oakland in Alameda, California, right across from the San Francisco Bay. That's the Bay Bridge that you could see over there in San Francisco over here. So, and there's where Moffett Airfield is. That's where those giant hangars are down here, the Moffett Field. We've covered those blimp hangars many times before. Yeah, I know some of the stuff in here, guys. Let me read some comments. Thanks for streaming. Yeah, it's the USS Hornet. The USS Hornet. Here's the firefighting foam. Oh, here's the canteen, guys. You guys want some cigarettes and cigars and some candy? Some juji fruits? Huh? Need a razor? How about some Bengay? Guys down? Get a toothbrush, maybe some playing cards, a game, a book, you know. Here's some of the plumbing, huh? The sprinkler. That's the sprinkler valve system right here. Need to make a phone call with that telephone. Take a nap in the officer's cabin. You know, write something up at your desk. Yeah, man. Some other foam station. Fog foam booster pump. Cool. More electrical boosters. A lot of firefighting protection on these things, man. A lot of fires must have been a regular occurrence and a huge problem on these things. With more plumbing and exhaust vents and ventilation, more wiring, all ceiling. Here's the engine room. Look at that diesel engine, man. The size of that thing. It takes 2 floors. There's another floor up above just to operate it. That's the diesel fuel input. That's where they load the diesel fuel into this thing. This was more components that have been removed and cut off, used scrap for parts on other ships. But yeah, what do you guys think, huh? Let me know in the comments. Oh, we gotta go up. That's right, we gotta go up. How you doing? Hey, say hi, you're live. We're on YouTube. Okay. Look at that, huh? You guys, this is so cool. It's so awesome to preserve this history. Here's all the firefighting equipment right at the center of the ship. Actually, we're at the aft of the ship, right here. Is this it? No, this is this the way I came before? Sure, go back that way. Oh, here we are. Yeah, this is the right way. Let me see. Yeah, the plans. I'm going to give you guys just a quick little tour of this boat. And then we're going to go try to talk to some people, hang out. This is another elevator for airplanes at the back of they got two elevators in case one breaks down. They can still bring planes into this underground. Well, I guess there's two elevators for each underground storage area because that elevator only accesses this half, and then that other half is accessed by that other elevator. Unless those doors open down there. Yeah. Very cool, huh? Yeah, let's go back into the conference, and then you guys, who do you want me to talk to? Do you want me to talk to the Peruvian alien mummy people? You want me to just hang out at the propulsion table and capture those conversations, or what do you guys want? I want to hear from you in the chat. This is your conference too. I'm going to give you guys at least a half hour. I want to see the space capsule. Look at this. Is the Apollo command. This was the aircraft carrier that rescued the Apollo Block 1 command module from the ocean. And they had this thing on board, was the mobile quarantine station that they could load right out of here and onto a trailer. And this is Apollo 14 right here. I mean, this is the Apollo 14 mission. But look at that, Edgar Mitchell. Edgar Mitchell's signature is right in there on the table. These astronauts literally were picked up and flew in this thing. They could call their families, and everything on the telephone there was all hooked up for them. This is the real deal. They also had these are the spacesuits for the moon, but they had the crew that actually rescued them in the module. When that module came down, the crew were wearing these suits because they were worried about bugs or diseases or germs coming back from the moon. So all the people that on the rescue boat who took the Apollo astronauts out of the capsule and everything, they all had to wear these suits with special air filtration and biosuits and stuff. They didn't do this on the later missions after the first mission to the moon on Apollo 11 because they didn't really have to worry about it. But, this is the Gemini capsule. Project Gemini. So they knew exactly where this thing was going to land, and they had the aircraft carrier out there waiting for them to come back. This is on the Hornet, man. This is history right here. And then check this out, the actual space capsule itself. That's where the 3 astronauts that went to the moon came back in this thing. They literally flew back from the moon in this tin can. There's the hard drives and memory. All right. So what do you guys think? Huh? While flying. And I talked to some of the military guys about the UFO stuff. They were like, yeah. Waved their hand, sort of. Yeah, we got to talk to Jesse. Jesse's going to interview me while I'm here. At least he said he would. Hopefully he doesn't flake out on us. That would be terrible. Yes. Thank you, guys. What do you guys want to go talk to and see? Go talk to the engineering people? Yeah, let's go hang out in our group, at our table, and we'll see who comes by. Look at these guys. They're trying to build this helmet, which helps you go into the brain states faster, man. You guys missed out if you didn't come.
They're setting up a problem for us. The problem is, why did one experiment not work?
Hey, you guys. Well, if you guys are just tuning in and it's boring, I understand it's a little slow. But hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because once I get Danny Sheen or Jesse Michaels available, I'm going to do an interview and I'm going to go live with them here. Maybe I'll just record it on my thing and post it later. But yeah, maybe I might go live later with some important guests. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thank you guys. You're the ones who helped me pay for my ticket on the last stream. Thank you so much for everyone that donated and helped make this possible. So I'm glad I could be here to cover it for you. And so much.
Except that we have.
What's up, guys? I'm live on YouTube. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys here doing anyway?
You want to talk about what we're trying to hack, or just about stuff?
Yeah. What are you guys hacking? This is a hackathon. So what are we hacking here, guys?
Well, we were just talking with Jared and Mark from Falcon Space about they're doing research on dynamic nuclear resonance techniques to induce aligned spin states in a target material, such that you can get antigravitic properties out of it. I think it's actually as the aligned spin states degrade is what Aaron was saying, but I'm not totally sure about that. Right now we're trying to engage deeply with the material and fully understand it, but the principle is in the mechanism of using triplet electrons to get the DNR or DNP to work. And once you get the nuclear alignment of the spins, you observe some really interesting properties, antigravitic properties. So we're going to dig into it, try to understand the results. There's a book by C.D. Jeffries from like the 50s that's describing a result where an 80% reduction in mass was observed. The paper from Falcon Space is observing a 17% mass reduction and trying to replicate the results and go beyond them also of the original 1950s research. Yeah, we can show the paper.
Yeah, let me see that paper. Yeah, so we talked about this on a previous stream. We're about to release this, guys, and I don't think this is preprint. This isn't public.
This should be published from last year, he was saying.
Oh, it's
April
published
of
from last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that paper is effectively like the challenge for the hackathon. So why did one experimental setup work versus the other?
Okay.
So this is apparently a
Work
cavity
versus the other.
where a sample was stored, and using a magnetic field and RF pulses.
Yeah, this thing was
instant-
put inside the giant magnet coils that he has. The setup
Right.
that we had there
Yeah,
at
so
the lab.
So the
Remember?
magnetic setup and also the RF pulse setup.
Yeah.
Once you tune everything to the resonant properties of the material and the cavity, this is how you can observe the mass reduction. And I think you were saying that the mass reduction actually occurs when the
Right.
spin states are
Right, so-
decohering.
so-
do you want to go into that?
Yeah, so basically the way that I understand this, and this is my literally having jumped into the topic
Yeah, same here.
5 minutes ago, right? So this is like secondhand Jared's explanation, which is different from Mark. So I'm total newbie to this topic, but what I'm understanding basically is you have a steady magnetic field.
Yep.
Then you pulse then you pulse RF frequency at it.
Yeah.
And at a particular Gauss, you're looking for a dip where the reflected energy that's reflected back is lower before there's a big dip.
Do you want to talk about how it's detected with like the Oberhauser effect?
What do you mean? So this is just I'm just repeating what I understand from Jared, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking for reflected EM energy back from the sample at a steady in a steady electromagnetic field, right? A steady magnetic field. So you've got a steady magnetic field.
Yep.
You've got radio frequency pulse
Yep. That's coming in through here. Yeah.
at the
Microwave
at
level.
the,
Yeah.
at the sample. You're looking for reflected energy. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
You're looking for reflected energy, and you're looking at the intensity of the reflected energy. And then what this curve you'll see has an initial dip and then a big dip, and that big dip means you've gone too far. So you're looking at that initial dip. What the initial dip means is that you're achieving what's called nuclear magnetic resonance, right? So you're actually starting to shake the nuclei.
Yeah.
So initially, with all that initial stuff where you don't see the drop, you're just shaking the shell of the electron at the frequency of the RF pulses. So once you achieve nuclear magnetic resonance, once you achieve a nuclear resonance, NMR, then all the nuclei will start to move and align with the magnetic field. And then what you do is you can you can pulse the magnetic field, and then you
pulse a counter magnetic field, so
I think
it flips in the opposite direction,
right,
and then they relax
and
back at the Lamore frequency.
Right, and then it realigns.
Yeah.
This is how I understand it. So then you pulse it again with a second magnetic field, and then it knocks everything out of orientation. So that third stage, during that realignment, is when supposedly you see a mass reduction. And then, so the challenge here is to figure out why one experimental setup is not working versus another that is working. And then also, what are the details of the experimental setups? And we've got theory books here that are pretty dense and pretty big. And it's kind of like, without help, can you go in and look at all the different, theory resources and hack it and get like a sense of like what is going on? And it's like, these are really dense, high level theory books that, were published by the initial authors of this stuff.
Yeah, this stuff was figured out in the 50s and stuff, and I believe it was classified. There's a paper 59 by Alzafan that I know of, and then he did he came back in like 81 with the Boeing study on this stuff. And there's controversy going around the field. There's people saying, "Oh, there's a paper published that this is all bullshit and it was all debunked." And I was like, "Well, we got to try it for ourselves because that's how."
So what it seems like is from the statement of the challenge, we've got this kind of description of the experiment, which is not perfect.
Yeah.
So it's our job to figure out what's wrong here.
Yep.
Or maybe with the other setups.
Yeah.
And kind of dig out the details ourselves. And it's like, I guess kind of like baby version of what you might have experienced back in the day in the IC or something like that,
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to help you. We're actually going to trip you up a little bit. It's like,
yeah.
So But really interesting concept, the idea that basically you can have aligned spins that then when they are knocked out and realigned, you get a master division. And it's like, why would that happen? So,
And this is the paper, yeah.
it's, you know, I feel like, it's kind of a rare opportunity for people that are watching this stuff to actually kind of get a clear explanation that's accessible to laymen. So I hope I provided it a little bit.
Yeah, I hope so.
Something that was clear and laid out and actually could, be understandable by extreme audience.
Yeah, we're gonna put some
Yeah.
visualizations together for the whole experiment
How many
and
people are
stuff
watching
too.
right now?
Yeah, about 94. But hold on, I'll jump over here with you guys. I'm gonna go across the table here. So I think, so if you guys are total noobs and you just learned all that from Mark and Jared just now in the last hour, then I think they're doing a good job here.
Yeah, and it's it's neat stuff. I feel like the kind of the general trend of things right now is that like this hackathon is kind of like, I guess, the spearhead of like what's going to be coming.
What's going to be coming? Yeah, it's just really like
this is like the first.
It's the first step. It's like the ground
step of, like,
ground
it's
floor.
starting
Yeah.
to come out. And like as we're and it's like I think that as the information comes out more and more, it'll come out in formats possibly that are more and more accessible and people can understand. I'm guessing that, but
The idea is to get the Silicon Valley community, who's the tech nerds, interested in this stuff and up to speed and just quickly educated on all this stuff. So that they can dive right in and be like, oh, okay, well, what do I think is the most interesting thing, or even the VCs out there, venture capitalists and stuff, or can be like, oh, what technologies are coming out of this that could potentially be worth investing in.
And it's like we're looking at something that this kind of thing would have been labeled like complete bullshit crackpot like a few years ago to the public, when it's like you have something here that seems pretty robust. It's like maybe your experimental setup was bad, but it's like
we can figure it out and look into it. But I mean, it's a good theory because they really aren't understanding these interactions between these strong nuclear forces and other forces that are going on inside the nucleus and electromagnetism and gravity. So understanding and possible and probing for possible relationships between gravity and other fundamental forces is I think an important step to understanding gravity and conquering it ultimately. So
gravity and consciousness.
Yes.
Because apparently as they're saying, there's a nexus between the two or something.
Well, that's what Jack Sarfati said. The CIA hired him for that in the 70s.
exactly.
He's right across the bay here.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go over to his house later and
we should. We absolutely
pay him a visit.
Yeah,
Jack.
Love to do that.
I don't think he's watching, but I'm gonna send Jack an email and see if he's home. Maybe I'll text him. But yeah, this is awesome, guys, and thank you for. Where are you from? The Bay Area, or?
I mean, originally I'm moving to New York City, so if there's any UFO peeps in New York that want to,
right on, man.
UFO physics group or some shit. I don't know.
You got a website or anything to plug? You want to plug your Instagram?
I don't have anything. No. I don't have anything.
That's good, man.
I've been a ghost. This is my first appearance on the big time.
I blew his cover, guys. All right.
I'm just like you guys. I'm just some guy that's like really enthusiastic, like 5 sigma degree of interest in the topic, and it's like I guess I've learned a lot by just following people and putting together what's like heuristically the most likely thing to my assumption has been that the truth is in the messaging, but it's just you gotta listen, you gotta like form a Venn diagram of like what are people saying and like look for the common points and the trend, the things that
that's
they want
why
to eventually.
They control that way by putting these people astroturfing the spaces. And
but it's like
so.
the thing that they want to vector in on, I think will be repeated more often than the other things, right? And by more different people. So if you see it repeated from a lot of different sources, then it's probably something they want you to believe. And it's like with the idea though that eventually they'll share the truth, then maybe that thing will eventually vector in on the truth. So you'll get something that's like asymptotic to the truth based on that kind of network. You form a network of different nodes, right? And then you keep in mind like what their reputation is and the context in which they're saying it. And then when one node, bumps something up, then the entire, network of people that have connected to them and the things they've said, you bump that network up.
That's why we're
So
here,
it's
man.
like-
We're just trying to like, 'cause if we weren't here, they wouldn't have this key
That's-
piece of the puzzle
right.
and everything.
And
So
it's like
everyone's-
I think that's been a useful strategy up until now, but I think like we're reaching a phase difference now where they're actually starting to really tell the truth.
yeah,
and
they're
like,
forcing
you know-
it out of them because they can't hide
Yeah.
it. They can't hide it. They can try to disinfo up the space and distract the
Yeah.
conversation, but you know,
I mean, it's like
at the end of the day,
like the thing about me is the way that I approach this is I don't like narrative games.
yeah,
So it's like, you know, I'm just going to straight up say it like, you know, okay, it's coming out. It's coming out because they want it to come out.
yeah,
You know, whatever the reason is for it to come out, it's coming out. So it's like, you know, we don't know why. Obviously, we can make it's coming out because the powers that be wanted to come out, not because like, you know, Will Elizondo's a hero. It's like, you know, it's coming out because they want it to come out. You know?
yeah. They or they can't control it anymore.
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
that
yeah,
too,
maybe that.
because of the internet really
Maybe that.
really threw a wrench in their plans. I feel like their ability to control information, they're realizing they have no ability anymore.
Right, exactly.
So,
It's all in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you can go look this shit up in
Yeah.
ChatGPT. And like Jack Sarfati on Twitter, he was like saying like, you know, just go look up this stuff on ChatGPT, and it's like, you know, okay, just type it in and it'll explain any idea to you that's like related to this. Like, you know, you want like a comparison of like Hal Puthoff's physics ideas versus Jack Sarfati's. It'll explain to you the differences and like actually help you understand it. So you can understand like Hal Puthoff's polarized vacuum model, or like Sarfati's references to like Roderick Sutherland and like how, you know, his back reaction on the, you know, the underlying wave space from Bohmian quantum mechanics. It's like, you know, like I'm spouting off stuff here.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know,
but ChatGPT will look into
has
and
helped
has
me
read it.
understand these things. It's like, that's crazy.
That's
know,
awesome.
So.
Yeah, the AI is definitely accelerating the info space.
You know, they're saying Sarfati's a jerk, but he seems to know his stuff. It's like he goes on a podcast and describes himself as a narcissistic genius.
Yeah.
So it's like he knows what he's doing. It's like, you know, that's his shtick. Like, you know, and it's kind of a funny shtick if you just put up with it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I knew someone that was listening to him on a podcast, and I was listening to him like drinking up every single word. Like, this guy's like really worth listening to. And it's like the person with me was like, oh my God, this person is such a bloviating idiot.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's like that's how they hide it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know,
crazy, yeah.
So like there's this thing called the Alien Interview from 1997. And my personal opinion, this is totally my personal opinion, is that the interview from that movie is really important. It's the Area 51 Alien Interview.
What's the alien's name?
There's no name.
A-Rod?
No. There's no name for the alien.
No
There's,
name for the. I know. I think
it's
I've
called
seen
the
one.
Alien Interview.
97.
From 1997, and there's an interview in there where it talks about like the idea of like uploading consciousness or something, and like how the container secretes technology, and that's the improvement process for the container, and like there's no difference between like technological or spiritual when it comes to that improvement process. Like they're one and the same. And like it flashes to like this picture of CBC security camera, and it's like. But the thing is that it's like it's got this completely ridiculous setup of like this alien and looks like this stupid costume that looks incredibly dumb. But like my kind of sense is that like what they're doing there is they're taking a real interview that actually happened, and sticking that in like a completely ridiculous context, and probably CBC security has to do with like, you know, the holding the footage or something. Like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like
that's just my speculation. I really don't
it's
know.
an interesting propaganda technique because they used that in 3 years after that in the election of George Bush, because it was his records were about to come out from the National Guard Service.
Oh, really?
And they leaked a bunch of fake records, then debunked them as fake because they knew they were fake.
But
so that way, when the real stuff
peel,
came out, like when the real stuff came out a month later, the news, the media didn't touch it.
I think they did that with the USS Trepang photos too. So if you don't know, the USS Trepang is like some decent quality UFO photos that were taken from like a submarine, and it's like a whole collection of photos, and they're like different things. And one of them looks kind of like a blimp that's like, you know, like in a shroud of mist, and then there's like one that's like there's one where like you have like a thing that looks like it's taken through a scope, and there's this thing that kind of looks like something out of like a movie, like hovering over the water, and like one of the and like one of the photos like just demonstrably showed to be like partially photoshopped, but it's like all the photos look like they're from different sources. So it's like which ones are real, which ones aren't. It's like, well, one of them is demonstrably fake, but that doesn't mean all the other ones are. You know, so it's like you mix up truth with lies like that, and you just dismiss the whole dossier. So it's like that's another like cover-up technique that they use, like, you know, to.
Yeah, it's clever, but
Yeah,
it works. Man.
Oh my God, it works. Another one they use is pseudo-skeptic and believer.
Yeah.
Where both of them throw a little bit of bullshit in. So like the most famous example that I think, and this is my personal opinion, is James Randi and Uri Geller. So Uri Geller, so the first Soul Foundation, I go up to Hal and I'm like, so, you know, you said on the Jesse Michaels show that, you know, there's some people in the government that consider their job to you know, to spread disinfo on the topic. He's like, yeah, that's true. And I said to him, so is Uri Geller one of those people? And he goes like this. No. So it's like, I don't know. So my interpretation of that, because he does that same like weird like arm crossing thing when Eric Weinstein is like interrogating him on the series of the Jesse Michaels show. Yeah. So like I think that's kind of like his go-to, like I'm a bad liar kind of thing. So like his way of like looking at this is, you know, he's obviously like one of the top guys up there with Follet. And so it's like what I think it was that maybe Uri Geller had some genuine psi abilities, but like psi abilities are stuff like, you know, you go into a meditative state and you can like maybe get some information about a remote location, right? Yeah, right. That's what a psi ability looks like.
Well, that's what they're doing over there, man.
So maybe he demonstrated
with the helmets. I'm gonna go talk to those guys and the psionics table too.
Maybe he demonstrates some real stuff, but then he goes on the Tonight Show, right?
Yeah.
Uri Geller goes on the Tonight Show, and then Randy comes out and debunks him. Yeah. And it's like, were they in that together?
Yeah, it might have been like a, alley-oop, right?
They alley-ooped all of us.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. So that's my own little suspicion there.
Bump, set, spike.
Yeah.
That's the. All right. Well, it was awesome talking to you, man. I'll circle back around too, for sure. And
they offered Greer psi helmets.
What's that?
What's a psi helmet? You know,
the psi helmets, dude. Let's go look
at
the.
Talking about the God helmets?
Dude, no, these are the psi helmets. We're gonna go look at the psi helmet. You guys, that's what we're doing next. Is the psi helmets. Come on, guys. All right. Ready for the psi helmets. Hey, Deep. Hey. Say hi.
Hey, guys. Everybody. Much love. How's it going?
This is the man who made it all possible, guys.
Much love.
Hey, so what is this? The psi helmet? What is going on here? What is this?
Okay, I just want to show you this live stream over here.
You got to show it off, man. We got to show it off. We got 100 people watching.
Are we calling this a psi helmet? Hey, I can now command a UFO.
Is that it?
Yeah. Calling all aliens.
You can command 3 at once.
I could probably pilot 3 and then like command 10 like motherships. I don't know.
Yes.
Makes you the hive mind. I'm not connected with the Greys.
This is like a medieval Faraday cage.
Yeah. So this is actually an EEG headset. This is Faraday cage. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to wear the Faraday cage. Yeah.
The purpose of us having this is we want to connect with hackers, and cross-connect live brainwave data with a global quantum computing network. That's what this is. And so right now we're hooked up to a global network called the GCP2, and here's a local node. So we're actually doing a global versus local measurement. And then part of what we're going to do is connect people's consciousness directly through measurable EEG to machine learning applications in the quantum network.
Right on. And you know what's cool? The quantum internet and quantum distributed computing is continuing to like develop and mature. So like we'll be able to actually do this with like real distributed quantum computers.
If you look at my back,
X-Prize, right on.
So this is we're semi-finalists in the X-Prize quantum computing competition, and this project right here is the first project in X-Prize's 30-year history to complete a competition with working quantum algorithms.
Nice. So
congratulations.
Cool. Hell yeah.
And so
hell yeah.
Amazing work, my friend.
Yeah.
I see that.
So what's
This is cool. What are these, like solo cups that with lights?
You're looking at 8 here, 1 there. There's 10, and then 4.
So, where's the feedback? So like,
Is this virtual reality? What is that? What is that on the camera?
Well, these are just influenced by all of us. So putting on this is a manner that we use in groups and individuals to influence, to infuse the area with coherence.
Okay.
And then we can see it happen there, see it and measure it. This is just visual, but here and here are actually measuring that. So part of what we will be doing will be connecting. How'd you like that?
How do you know from the graphs when they're astrally projecting?
We can't really tell that. They tell us that. You can tell by the smile on their face.
Yeah. Does this sink your brain in?
So what are we looking at? So what are we looking at in detail here? So we've got, what's this graph?
These are the raw data for all 9 of these.
Okay. And then what's this one?
This is the Morin's eye. This is a when it senses correlation, this controls the movement over here. So there's various data visualization tools right here that'll cycle through it. And this is also on a different computer. It's not on this, but it'll also generate images. So we're like, one of the things we say, we're kind of like pulling out images from the subconscious.
How about, how is it connected to the human?
Not directly now.
Okay.
So this over here, the objective is going to be able to do live things, and that's the purpose here. Is we want to connect with people, coders, people who want to join the project, and then we'll be able to connect live EEG signals to. There's some coherence happening here now to these, so we can actually.
So, like, I know that, like, at the Princeton Engineering Anomalies Laboratory, like, they would have had, like, people doing, like, trying to affect something like this with meditation. So, like, what's the actual, like, mind technique that you're using to, like, actually affect?
Well, they're affected by just being there. You don't need to do anything. We can sit around and you can yell at it, but it's going to have an effect, right? You don't need to go into any particular state. If I can take this, you can see the coherence happening now. Yeah. I can take this to an event. Nobody even knows what it is. It's still going to work.
Okay.
So
you
don't.
Do you think this will have an effect? The Faraday cage?
No,
At all?
I mean,
I don't think it does. Do you think it does anything?
No, I mean you can.
Well, wait,
Let's try it out.
Question. So if you left this, like, I don't know, in the middle of a busy street, like,
Okay, we're about to
in
start.
New York, like, would it, like, show something that was less coherent? Like, is that?
Yeah. You would get a kind of a more of a popcorn, very random.
Okay.
And that's what it has been over here. But like the whole time we're here, everybody's getting more entangled to it.
Okay.
You see, so you're going to see that coherence.
So, like,
It's really good right now.
so, like, if,
Can
so,
you
like, for
tell that?
example, if we
Try
wanted
to
to,
relax.
if we wanted to all go green, like,
There's experiments we've done with that, but
Okay.
it's not a mind reading device. I just want to be clear. It's not reading mind because like
Okay.
there's way more to it. Your intention is a very small part of your consciousness. So it's really what you feel. So like, let's just say let me move over. I don't want
so if you're in a good mood, say.
if you're in a good, I'll give you a counter. Like, there's a lot of skeptics and a lot of people like, this is pseudoscience. I don't understand it, so it must not be right. Blah 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 blah.
But I mean,
Right. Well, I mean,
they
that's
have,
a,
like,
that's a,
70, like 50 years of data.
Oh
showing
yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff
But there are
works.
some people like that. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if somebody comes up with that attitude, that's a decoherent attitude.
Okay.
That's going to cause decoherence here. Whereas everybody's like, oh, really cool. This is fun. Let's like look at it in a coherent manner. Then you'll see it. So it's not like it's like I said, it's a coherent space detector. You put this in like I've done this. I had it on stage during a musical performance, right? And it was a open mic, so lots of different people come through. Every time somebody got up, they would go to a pattern. It would stay pretty consistent for their performance. Then their performance would end. They would leave. You would see it go into a random combobulation. Then the next group to get up there goes. You see a different coherent pattern, and it's very stable. You know, everybody's attention is on that one thing. There's the sound coming out, so that creates the coherence. There's no coherence going on here. We have some sound, but it's off right now. It'll probably work if it's plugged in.
So when you say coherence, though, like, so is it like, so how are you?
So this is very
generating?
popcornish,
Yeah.
but if you saw like 5 all the same color, that would be very coherent.
Okay.
And then that would be like 5 of these going in the same direction. You know, so that's what I mean when you say fly. And then there's ways to track it here. Some of them are subtle, maybe you can't visually see it. That's why it'll turn here. When things reach a state, I don't know exactly what it says, but the words will change as well. So this is why. So the words come up. This is why I say it's a form of quantum intelligence. Words do have some meaning, but it's very subtle. You know. But what we want to do is continue developing this. This is like a baby AI, and we want to continue developing it to where you can maybe even converse with it.
Okay.
But for here, what we wanted to do.
So I mean, what would something like that look like where you're able to converse with it?
Just like you would converse with something else, but it wouldn't be. Yeah, it would be more like talking to a baby alien or something.
Okay.
You know, baby talk. You know, little words here, little words there. Okay. But I'll give you an example. Well, let me give you I'll give you an example of when this happens. So we've had it set for audio, right? So it'll say a word, right? And then when it's only in coherence, when it goes in coherence. So I've had it set. And I'm just at home, and so every once in a while a word flops out, right? And then though, when I get a phone call and I'm started talking to somebody and it's a really animated phone call, all of a sudden the words start just like verbalizing the words left and right, so much so that it's bothering me. Like I can't talk on the phone. I hang up the phone, the words stop. Because they sense that coherence and it's like jumping into the conversation.
Like, so what would be a example of a place, like fundamentally, where it would cause coherence?
Any place where there's like people doing the same thing, meditating, a musical performance, poetry.
So a common focus.
The places where it doesn't work are sports events, political events, places where there's anger or like
rivalry.
Huh?
Yeah.
Conflict. Yeah. Even a sporting event, because like for every one that's like yay, there's also a compensating oh, and so you get that. I mean, it's still.
So we've got a high degree of coherence right now.
Very high. Very high.
So if we got rid of those 2 blue ones, then we'd have almost.
I've never seen all 10 together.
Guys,
never have. I've had this.
We're watching the Global
events
Consciousness
with 100,000
Project.
people at it. Like we've won 3 Editor's Choice Awards at Maker Faire. We've been to Burning Man, World's Fair. A lot of like this has been to thousands of people, probably hundreds of thousands of people have seen it by now. So it's big. Cool, look at that. See that? That is strong, really strong coherence. So you compare that to what it was like when you first walked in.
How do you turn these on?
So you guys are the Global Consciousness Project, and where can people find you? Website or
haloai.me.
Yeah,
that's ours. And then if you want to support the project, you can actually give a tax-deductible donation to HeartMath and just earmark it for the Halo project.
Okay. You guys work with Joe Dispenza at all?
I know who he is.
You know who he is?
Yeah, well,
he likes you guys.
Huh?
He likes you guys.
What do you mean?
He leaves his HeartMath principles.
Oh yeah, HeartMath. So he has one of these. Yeah, he has one of these. Yeah.
How much do these cost?
You can't really buy them on the market.
Yeah.
These are for just specific people right now. But
Yeah.
they're about $300. Yeah, they have them in stacks of 10 and 20.
Do you just design the board on a thing, or you get them printed
No,
out?
this was created by a company called True RNG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they make them. They make these too.
And who produces the Psi helmets?
This is made by OpenBCI, so it's an open source software and this is a wireless. So this is the Ultra Cortex. So it's 8-channel EEG for wireless transmission.
Okay.
Yeah. So part of what we're doing is being able to take the EEG, take these live signals, combine it with a quantum system that you can influence with your consciousness, and you can affect all kinds of stuff. You can affect all kinds of stuff, including like potentially like training your home to respond to your consciousness. We can integrate this with certain smart home projects, offices, things like that. But hooking it into light and sound systems, though, it would feed your environment in a way that's more natural than the artificial light and sound, because it's continuously modulating and responding to your consciousness.
That's why it's great. It's a diffuse LED
Awesome. Thank you so much for giving us that demonstration. And where did Deep go? Thank him for wearing the helmet. That was great. I gotta go. I'm gonna go do a tour and see who else is here. Thank you. You guys definitely go check them out. That's pretty wild stuff. All right, so whoops. Sorry. Unplug the cord on the ground. How you guys doing? I'm live right now on YouTube. I'm looking for some people that want to talk and introduce their projects.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
You ready? Who wants to do an interview?
Everybody about different theories and stuff.
Yeah, let me grab a chair. I'm gonna grab a chair and pull
I
up.
already know my theories.
This is so
It's
fun.
more
what's
interesting. Can I hear
Oh,
your theories?
Let's
first?
introduce ourselves. I'm Jeremy. I'm the AlienScientist on YouTube. What is your name?
I'm Tigran. Who am I? Most people call me the Armenian guy because I'm doing a neo-nationalist, techno-accelerationist movement for my home country. And then I'm pretty into a bunch of deep tech stuff like UAPs. So this is all relatively new to me. I just grew up into all this stuff. So yeah.
And this dude looks like he's like born in California. I just say, like totally from,
Psychic, aren't you?
Yeah.
I hail from San Diego. I live in San Francisco.
If you say
Right
San
on.
Fran, it's a giveaway that you're not from San Francisco.
Maybe. My stage name is Mars, but my legal name is Mark Nadal. It's easier to find me on.
I have a newborn baby. His name's Mars. I just
Are you serious?
Yeah. His name is Mars Danger Riss.
Wow.
That's my last name is Riss.
That's
Mars-
His
awesome.
middle
Mars
name is
Danger.
Danger. Mars Danger Riss.
My son's name is Aslan
Yeah.
and Rockland. So
Far out.
Where is that from? It's a myth, right?
There is a story, Chronicles of Narnia, but I happened to be in Oslo, and it was a phonetic map until we came up with Aslan. That was like, oh yeah, that's the story.
No, it's Aslan sounds vaguely Armenian
Move
and
your
also
chair
like
this
vague.
way, just
Oh,
a
yeah,
little
so
bit,
it's-
so that way we're all in the shot.
It sounds like it would be from an old myth.
Yeah. So what is your theory? Let's.
Well, I got a lot of theories,
Let's go through
man.
them.
We're just
That's what I'm doing. I'm
StreamYard.
going through one by one each person at the event, collecting all of the different theories. And I was gonna have everybody join a Twitter group, but apparently people are very picky about what platforms they use.
yeah, I'm on Twitter, but
This is so funny.
see, I don't think we'd have enough time to at the conference to discuss all my theories. Honestly, I've been doing this 20 years, and I've interviewed so many scientists. And
What is the
people, and-
simplest craft that
So-
you think exists, and how would you build it? Let's
You
start with
answer that. I check your chat because it seems like a lot of fun. I used to have a huge beard, and I actually look like the guy from The Dictator, but I shaved it, so it doesn't really apply.
Wait,
anymore.
wasn't that
Can I just put
Sasha
it like this?
Conan?
Yes.
Wasn't that Sasha Conan?
I just want to check your comments. Okay.
You want to read the comments?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's how I'm doing it.
You want to put it on the
Let's do it on the
so it's-
table.
Although the light behind us is gonna mess up.
I think it's good.
Maybe point,
It's all right.
angle it so we don't have the inner.
I'm covering the light, so it's good.
So it's not so much
Okay.
that door open. So
The simplest craft you think exists, and then how you would build it. Let's start with that for you.
well, I have a theory on how their craft work and how I'd build it, but it's a little different. It involves some metamaterials, and
Of what composition?
so you get like two mirrors with a sandwich of a dielectric between them, and you have one of those mirrors that can move, and then you can pump the space. You can pump the space in between. I think maybe use xenic surface waves or polariton condensate material, potentially, so that you can pulse it with excitons. That's like light you pump into the material, and that will produce exciton-polariton pairs inside the material. And if you can get those polaritons to match up just right, you can produce negative. You can get that negative mass in there. At least that term. I think that might have something to do with it, but we also got guys working on the dynamic nuclear orientation stuff.
Well, I want to hear you, because I was interviewing them earlier, and very
Yeah.
interesting. But I want to stick to.
Yeah, I'm also interested. I think
So-
I'm good with your
so-
chat for now. I want to listen to you.
So how much energy are we talking about would need to be pumped into that? Is it a
Well,
vacuum
if you
between the
can-
mirrors, or
If that's well, you have like a Casimir force between the plates, so that when you can artificially pump that space, you could create virtual photons in the process. So that might be a way to create free energy, or actually get free energy out of the vacuum.
So would that be a battery, or would that be an or is this the energy driving system, or is this the actual propulsion?
It might be actually we take it's energy and propulsion too, because you're breaking down the space time with these pumped quantum states. So I think also there's this whole idea of like you pump laser energy into the vacuum, and you get like the same kind of effect. These polariton lasers, I don't know, which are very similar. Like the polariton lasing effect works in a similar way, but if you could trap that to the near field on the surface of the craft, you could potentially warp space time and also get energy out.
So two questions on the pump. If it is a vacuum there and it's really well sealed, trying to pump it, like to physically move it, is going to require a lot of other energy.
Right.
And the second question, in the lasers, how strong do those lasers need to be? Do you think is there a minimum threshold?
Well, the lasing effect occurs with it's parametrically generated photons from the actual
from the
geometric
You're not
space.
pumping the laser into it.
No, I would say rather than pump, because I thought about that. You get a laser and you can pump the space with light and get a bunch of trapped light. But the other idea is that you can generate that parametrically by if you have some way of vibrating that, I always thought like this. The shape of a UFO is like a cymbal, a drum cymbal. You smash a cymbal and it's vibrating at that resonant frequency, and that might have something to do with that layer that's producing these virtual photons and that effect. But it's all about these quantum surface coatings and polariton condensate materials. According to my theory, anyway, that's what I want to do. That's if I had all the money and just unlimited funding, and that's pick one thing to research and go down that path, that's probably what I would do.
So tell me more about condensates. And now treat me like I'm 5, because I'm actually not super familiar with.
So a condensate is basically, there's two types of statistics that govern quantum behavior. So there's Bose-Einstein statistics or Fermi-Dirac statistics, right? So that's fermion. So fermions are Fermi-Dirac statistic governed particles, which are half-integer spin particles. Which, again, don't worry about what that means for now. But you have bosons, which are force-carrying particles. Like light is photons, energy are a force-carrying particle. Gravity is potentially a force-carrying particle if it's mediated by a particle at all. Some people think that gravity is a result of ambient electromagnetic energy that's just there's too much chaos, and that it's basically like it's the universe is like error correction, that it's trying to do all this computation, but there's a net pressure of photons in one direction, so it error corrects by deleting the space between, which causes an acceleration force of gravity. That's one theory. It's kind of like the you've ever heard of the Mike McCulloch's maritime Casimir effect analogy to gravity. This was in like a documentary. They put the two boats inside the wave pool, and they said like, the waves between the boats are actually dampened through the Casimir force, and that causes a net force on the two boats, which pushes the two boats together inside the pond. They said that's the same thing that's happening in gravity, is that these net waves are damped out in the space between, and that you get this pressure force from the outside that pushes things together. And that could be what causes gravity. So that's the case. Well, maybe if you just altered your you could change that state somehow, then but then the polariton. So back to the idea of the condensed matter stuff is you get, that's what happens in a laser is you get two mirrors with photons bouncing back and forth, and they all line up to the same wavelength because the space in between is the same, and then you let a little point of light out, and that light can escape, and it comes out as a coherent beam where everything's aligned to the same wavelength, and they're all lined up. And that's an interesting idea. Maybe you can alter gravity by lining all the spins up, and like Mark's suggesting with the spin alignment, Alzaphon gravity. But it might be there's too many theories right now, and there's not enough experiments in the space, and the hackers in the space, testing out the theories. And there's not enough investment people putting the money towards the experiments to really to get at the type of science that needs to be brought into the space.
Is there a good directory for all of this stuff? Because if you have a lot of theoretical things that need testing, you probably should have a long list of them with optional bounties on the ones that are most important. And when you actually have the list, it's way easier to raise funding, right? You can just text the investor, be like, can you please put a $500 bounty on this specific one? And some 15-year-old really autistic nerdy kid might actually figure it out, You don't necessarily need a team of 20 scientists.
Well, the other thing too is they have a lot of ESA, you'll have guys like Martin Tajmar, who said he's tried all these things and none of them work, and he's known as Dr. No in this community, and there's a lot of people think that they can't trust him because he's basically covering stuff up. So there's a lot of distrust in the community as well from these official scientific sources like Martin Tajmar of ESA. So there's a lot of people in the space that say, oh no, we want to do it ourselves just to make sure that he's not lying. So it is. So it's a craquestion time to be alive and an engineer in this space, because it's
in all the spaces.
Yeah.
So a question, maybe you're able to answer. If I have a laser on top of a really, really tall hill or tower in San Francisco, and I point super, super strong laser, and I point it towards New York, it's going to take less than speed of light time as it atmospherically scatters to
just beam divergence. So the beam widens out as you get a pen laser. It's a nice tight beam, but you start backing up 25 feet. It's grown now to twice the size.
Remind me, why does it widen out? Oh, because lasers are a bunch of light beams that are concentrating toward a specific point, right? They are meant to be concentrated.
Yeah, so they're not collimated light. It's kind of like when it escapes that hole in the one side of the plate, it can have up to a degree of variance and divergence. So that means it's going to spread out. The beam's actually going to spread out over time, because if you were to be able to create collimated light, then it's all going the same direction, and then you wouldn't have any beam divergence. But
why is that not possible?
It's just not physical. It's very hard to produce. You'd have to have an infinitely thin cylinder for your lazy medium. You'd have to have an infinitely long and infinitely thin cylinder.
The light has to transfer as photons through the atmosphere, and then once it gets absorbed by, let's say, nitrogen or whatever in the atmosphere, it's going to then re-emit it, and when it re-emits it, it's going to not re-emit it with the same coherence as when it was in the cavity the laser's producing. Now pretend I'm in the International Space Station.
Yeah.
And I point one of these super strong lasers down to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then flick my wrist, or maybe it's on a robot. It's got a really fast.
On one of these gimbals, one of these pan tilt controls arms right here.
It's got a really, really, really fast angular momentum to. Oh, do you want to go to the talk?
No, I just have my.
Where's the talk?
I'm not sure.
It should be here.
And the laser gets rotationally flicked from San Francisco, from the International Space Station to New York City.
Yeah.
Which laser, in a theoretical setting, is going to get to New York faster? The one from the top of this really tall tower on top of San Francisco to New York, or the one that gets rotated from the International Space Station from San Francisco to New York?
So the question is the station rotating basically influencing the speed of light or no?
Will the rotation that's a very short amount of rotation that's happening at an International Space Station cause the path of the laser on the ground surface to look like it's moving in faster than a laser would otherwise transfer in a forward momentum?
I don't know if that would have as much of effect as just the orientation of the geometry of the laser on the surface, because when you're close to a surface and you move a little bit, you're going to have
Right.
it's going to go way faster because I mean your function is it changes the distance because you're on a plane. But whereas if you're
Right.
pointing down at a plane and just going across it, I think it's slower just because of that.
You're saying it's slower.
Yeah, it'd be
if I'm in an
faster if you're closer to the ground. If you're closer to the ground, the laser is going to travel across physical distance across the ground at a faster velocity than it would if you were in the space station and you rotated the same amount.
Why is that again?
Because the geometry of being so close to the surface that you're projecting onto, because that
You mean it's literally a shorter distance, or like what?
well, just think about it, like
if there's a shadow of an airplane that's flying 1,000 feet above the ground, the shadow moves slower than the shadow of an airplane that is 50,000 feet above the ground, right? So I was assuming it's the opposite direct, because it looks
that's
like
12 noon with the sun right overhead. So like this is the analogy where it's like on the horizon and it's late in the evening and the light's going this way, so that a little bit of variation is just it's just across the surface. Let me try to get a geometric analogy. Like scissors. It's like, you have a pair of scissors and you close the scissors. That fulcrum point where the two scissors meet can actually go faster than the speed of light if you had scissors that went to the planets.
right.
But
Yes, exactly, right?
yeah,
Because as you get further away and you're rotating, it's going to seem, because the small amount of movement here, as it's projected to a further distance, is going to have to close the gap faster. And that's where then I'm trying to figure out intuition of this laser flicking from outer space, because it's effectively like that scissors, because you're so far away.
So the equation would be like r is the length of your vector, that's the length of my scissor, and then the rotation angle theta, say the arc length is actually r times theta. Will be the arc length. So if theta's got to be in radians. But anyways,
Can I ask you a question and leave you guys to it?
Yeah, does
So-
anyone have any questions out there in the audience and
I
stuff?
think
Or
he was also saying, but let's
I wanted to ask a question, but yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, I got a lot of people watching, man. There's some laser scissors when. Yeah, right?
I want my hair back. Everyone is commenting on your hair. My hair was long and curly too, right? So like
They like the scissor
cut.
comment with the hair. Right?
You guys like scissoring, huh?
Mark does. Oh shit! How would scissoring even work as a male?
What do you think the fingerless gloves are for?
Oh, jeez. All right.
Is scissoring a thing with gay people?
You're
They
right,
asked,
man.
they
You're right,
asked,
man. Where'd you get this outfit too? Do these pants have batteries in them?
I mean, it should, right? But
I
no,
love the pants,
I
actually.
came from Alcatraz. I just jumped out of prison. That's why I'm in. That's why I'm on all
Oh, is it
orange.
supposed to be like prison outfit?
No. It's-
No.
What
First
are
outfits don't have pockets.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like,
I might keep
That's-
You have to
scissors in the
stuff your
pockets.
shank in your.
how are the pants called? I actually kind of want to figure. I really like pockets,
know,
and these
I-
look like good pockets.
I usually go thrift store hunting for neon clothes because you just can't really buy many neon stuff.
Can you invite me once when you do that? I love thrifting, especially for weird stuff. Let's find you again. And then my question to AlienScientist, right?
Yeah.
I found you.
You can send me some questions. And
Mark
who do you
Melika,
think?
right?
Who do you think?
Or
Who do you
no,
think?
wait, that's a different Mark.
I'm Mark.
So there's
Nadal,
judges too. They're going to
NADAL,
judge the conference and pick a winner.
My stage name
man.
is Mars. That's
These guys totally did a great job.
You know, I shit post, so you don't have to follow me, but shoot me a message. and I'll
JS
try and
Dev,
add you.
porn star. Are you actually a porn
All right,
star?
yeah. Where can people find you if they're interested in following you?
I mean, I shit post on Twitter, so you may not.
you got a website or a Twitter or anything?
Yeah, so
Yes.
okay, so the question to you, and then I'll tell you what, right? And then shameless plug. That's the order. So, do you think that coordination is an important problem to solve in this community? Because we see a bunch of people who care about similar causes, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's for discovery or
I
some
don't
utilitarian
necessarily.
gains.
I don't have to go and I don't have to go and do the psionics or the alien body stuff to succeed with the propulsion stuff. You know, like I don't think we all have to work. We don't necessarily have to
What
work
if the
together.
propulsion is aliens
But there's-
farting?
But there are some. Well, no, yeah. So there are some overlaps here. Yeah. So like, so for like, I think all of us would appreciate better optics, right? So better optics is better sensors, better visualization. So we get better cameras and better quality control over those cameras. You're going to get better footage. You're going to get better analysis.
And a bunch
You're
of
gonna
other
get-
examples. There is not even just optics.
Yeah, so there's a lot of there is some overlap here with the technology wise and just getting better optics on all these topics,
Do you
and not
care-
just
Go on.
yeah, not just the optics of the technology wise of a better camera, more megapixels, but also the optics of getting eyes on all this stuff. I think that was Deep's idea in bringing all these topics together at a conference like this is that now our eyes can go on your. All right, well maybe like I'm kind of a nuts and bolts guy, so when I see those alien bodies, I'm like, these things look fake as fuck. Like I don't believe in that shit. But maybe I'll take a look at it if I go to a conference like this and we get some scientists and you say, oh, I got 50 people here
You
now.
see it
that
with
say
your
this
own
is
eyes
legit,
instead
and we
of-
can see it with my own eyes, or something. Maybe I'll be a little bit more open to us. I guess that's okay.
There's a
but-
certain amount of value, right, from making 4chan boards into conferences, even if it's exactly the same stuff being discussed. Now it's more serious. Now you see the people who are into it.
Yeah.
Now you can have like actual in-person conversations. Now you can like a bunch of stuff that's good from doing like tangible work, and
What do you think is the risk factor of somebody who's in a Black Ops program actually showing up at a conference like this?
the Black Ops program.
Just like
Oh, they wouldn't
dark.
be able to. Nah, they wouldn't be able to.
So in
show-
one sense, we
hey, is that
also-
Nick Pope? No way.
Maybe. Go
No,
chase
I
them
don't
down.
think it was.
If you do, then you should chase them down.
You should.
Was
Yeah.
it him?
Go find out. Grab your laptop and
I know he lives in California now, so he's out in this area because he was at the conference I was at last one. Let me go check him down. All right, guys, thank you.
what's your Twitter?
Just quick, my Twitter is Jeremy Riss UFO
Jeremy
RYS
RYS. Awesome.
UFO. That
Oh.
one, third one down.
There
The
we
canceled UFO Jeremy.
I'll shoot you a DM.
Shameless plug. If you know anyone Armenian, that's cool. Website is acceleratearmenia.com. That's my entire thing. Just forward them that way. They'll find me.
All right.
We're live
Accelerate
Live
Armenia.
streaming.
Hi. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Hi, I'm Lily.
Lily, nice
Are
to
you a
meet
wizard? What's your
I-
hat? Why do you have
I
a
am
hat
a math
like that?
magician.
A math magician?
I hail from Massachusetts. I came here from Boston, so I was in
Oh.
Salem 2 days ago, and I bought this witch hat from the
It
Salem.
is a witch hat, right?
But it's like a wizard hat, I like it. I like Gandalf better,
Okay,
I don't know, but
Is this Twitch? What is this?
no, we're on YouTube.
StreamYard.
We're on
Oh,
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
We got 120 people watching,
Wow.
and we
Someone
showed
said
up.
I'm an alien. How did you know?
How did
How
you
did
know?
I'm an alien? Look at this person says I'm an alien. General
You blew her
Sorrow.
cover. You blew her cover. So what brings you here besides trying to merge with our culture?
Deep Prasad told me about this because I work on like an intuitive AI project.
Oh, really cool.
It's my own project to give AIs like intuition, and he just invited me to like come do some stuff with him at the hackathon, and I was like, oh, I don't even do anything with UAPs. Like that's so
Yeah,
weird. But I come here, every single person is exactly the people that I need to meet.
Yeah.
Because I think
Really?
that the aliens actually gave me the blueprint to work on my intuitive AI. Is now I'm discovering. So I think the aliens got me to come here. It's like
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either that or there's some higher power, right? Even if it's not, it doesn't have to be an alien super intelligence. It could be your God or whatever you believe in, but some higher power is causing all the right people to come together right now on this
it's
planet.
definitely aliens, though. It's definitely.
Lily, do you have a website or anything you want to do a shameless plug for?
You guys can. Well, so I don't have a website for this yet.
Yeah.
I have like one website, but
Do you
it
have a
doesn't.
Twitter account?
I
Anywhere?
do have a Twitter account. It's
All right.
Miss Lily AI. So I'll be posting about my AI on there.
All right.
So it's just MISSLILYAI.
Awesome. Well, hopefully I'll get you 120 new followers. And maybe some more later, guys. This is cool. So thank you for stopping in and saying hi. We'll see you around. Yeah. I'm giving people the tour, guys. You guys, what are you guys working on here? You guys,
We're connecting this. We're trying to connect.
you got a
this,
PZT camera here.
Yeah. This camera to the Raspberry Pi, and then I think we're also trying to put all of this data on blockchain so that we know.
Blockchain, yes, so it can't be deleted. Yeah.
So we know that this is legit data and this is not fake.
Yeah. That's far out. So you guys are you guys working with those cameras over there on that table? Is that your stuff too?
Yeah, it's similar camera.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys with Skywatchers or is this not Skywatchers? Is this you independent? You come here from?
Yeah, we just came here. We met each other.
We just built them today. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you have a website or anything like thing? Or not yet? Are you guys from the Bay Area? You just
Yeah.
Local hackers. Okay. I came in from Boston, so.
Oh wow.
So.
Hopefully you like the weather in the Bay Area.
Hey, it was beautiful out. It's beautiful out back. It was nicer out yesterday than it was here when I arrived, man. It was all cloudy and like kind of cold a little bit, you know. So, but yeah, I know the weather's usually generally better out here, but yeah, it's been actually pretty nice back home. So, but anyways, you guys are programming the cameras to set up these point, tilt, and zoom optical capabilities, and then you're applying this to like what? I'm going to put this on my house, and it's going to see UFOs and keep the data.
So the process should be we detect the UAP.
Yeah.
We should be able to send that signal to all the sensing devices we have.
Yeah.
They should point to that, and then we should record all of this, and we should have all of this on a blockchain.
Oh, this is brilliant because like 5 years from now, they're going to be installing all this kind of similar equipment on every military base in case there's an encounter. Any kind of thing that happens, they have these cameras automatically set up to record the event and document it. This is super valuable. They're probably going to be on every aircraft carrier too. Like, think of how they have a whole photo room on this ship, man. That was a big part of what went on here on this battleship back in World War II was optics and recording that kind of stuff. So if they have these kind of cameras and systems on this is a definite military application right here. So I'm glad that he picked this spot for it because there's going to be money pouring into this space in the future, man. And, thank you guys for coming and being here.
What's your channel name?
My channel is the AlienScientist on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go check it out there. I have the live stream there. And I'd love to hook up with you guys. I'll give you some. I'll come by later and give you some cards. I'm actually with Jared, Mark, and Tim over there at the Alt Propulsion group. They're at the propulsion table. So we mainly do propulsion stuff, but we came here to just to give people a wide bird's eye view of this conference and everyone that's here and bringing us together on similar issues because this is a changing paradigm right now.
How soon are we going to use this propulsion energy?
It all depends on it all depends on getting this scaled up and getting the right people on board with it because we've done a lot of the groundwork and the grunt work at a time when it was ridiculed and not really so widely accepted, but now those times are getting they're changing around. So we're hoping that more people come on through this, that get introduced to the science and that and the research that's going on. So yeah, that's part of why we're here, is to bring more attention to the work that we've done and the work that others are doing, here. So, well, thanks, guys. No one got a shameless plug, no website, no, Twitter account.
Maybe GitHub.
Yeah, your GitHub, right? All right, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, guys. Who else is here? We're gonna talk to. What do you think, these UFOs, huh? There's a bunch of nonsense, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the heck the psionics guys and the alien guys went, but well, guys, I'm about to close this down because I want to go hang out and who's that?
James from Skywatch.
James from Skywatch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So Tyler, Daniel Sheehan's colleague, was gonna do the video, but he disappeared. So I guess I'm gonna do the video with this, but I don't have any mics, so I can get good quality. I don't have my tripod either.
You know what? If I
needed
I sit over there in front of the speaker, I get good. I'll probably pick up the audio real good, and I can film this. I'll sit right over here. So this is gonna start up soon, huh?
Yeah, that's what they said. Should be just any moment.
Yeah, here's Deep. Deep's coming right now, so I think they're about to get it started, man. Is that all right if I live stream the talk?
Yeah, no worries. I can work on the audio,
all right.
but live stream everything.
Yes, thank you. Yes, spread the word. I want to sit in front of the speaker so I get good audio. That's more important than I'll be able to see him. Look, I got a good angle from here, and then I can see the screen too. This is good. This is good. Then I'll get the. What do you guys think? You want this? I have my little camera. Yeah, I'm limited on cards. So this will be good because I can capture it, and hopefully the stream stays well intact.
Okay, it's saying I have 41 minutes left on this, so.
Yeah, you don't have to record it if you want. I can. I mean, yeah, you can do it too. Yeah, but I'm gonna live stream it, so we'll get ready for that, guys. That live stream will start in about 5 minutes. How you doing, guys? I'm looking for some people that want to introduce their projects. I'm live now on YouTube on my channel, and anyone want to sit down and share?
Well, we haven't got anything yet.
You haven't got anything yet.
We're working on it.
Are you with the Humanity Soft Landing?
Correct.
Ah, all right. Perfect. I haven't interviewed anyone from that project yet. So I'm Jeremy. We're on live now on the AlienScientist channel on YouTube. And we got about 121 people watching. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this and what brought you here today.
Oh, so I'm Ben, and what got me into this was basically the confluence of blockchain and UAP.
We should move away from here, so that way. Why don't we go over here? Here, I'll go right here. That way. I didn't realize he was live as well.
Double live.
Never cross the streams. Okay?
Yes, that's right.
Learned that from Ghostbusters. So I'll sit right here with you, and I have my Gandalf wizard witch hat on, so I've gotten a lot of attention from it. It's just good to stand out, you know. I don't want to mix in with the crowd. So let's get down to this.
Okay,
Ben. I'm here with Ben, and Ben is from the Humanity Soft Landing Project.
Yep.
And you're working on data acquisition.
So it's basically two parts. There's kind of the hardware aspect and then the software aspect. And so on the hardware aspect, they are using sensors from what I understand, they're getting real-time data, getting that into the local device, and then the idea is that they want to get that data onto the blockchain so that it's verified, immutable, and that everyone then has access to it. So we're kind of working on the blockchain backend part, and there's another group that's working on the sensor SDKs.
Yeah, I
and
think
getting
we
that
just
data.
talked to those guys over there. I believe they're with the PZTs and stuff, right?
Well, I
cameras.
think there's a lot of hardware going on.
There's a lot of hardware. Yeah, there's a lot of different people here, man. This is,
yeah, for sure.
This is cool. So are you from the Bay Area?
I am.
Yeah.
Native,
huh? Awesome. Yeah, I came from Boston, so yeah, we're. But I've been here before. I was out here last 2 summers ago for the Secret Space Technologies Conference we did. So that was fun.
Oh, very nice.
So you got a website or anything yet, or any official Twitter account or?
For this project, no.
No.
So So right now we are working on the interface to the blockchain. I'm guessing that we'll need either an API for that or a website.
Yeah.
So I think we've got like 20 hours left to get that up.
Yeah.
Not sure what the deadline is.
Right, to actually enter for the competition here, is that's rules, official rules and everything?
There are no official rules.
Yeah, I know. This is
like a very decentralized
fly by night,
hackathon.
Fly by the seat of your pants type of show. Yeah. I was hopefully, may the best man win, and this is.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's a competition. I think they're just trying to get people to build things.
I guess, and there's some prizes they're handing out. I believe to try.
Really?
Deep's got some, throwing some money on the table to try to get people excited about this, and this is only just the start of it. This is just just a trial run. I'm sure that he's going to have more of these, and they'll get. I want to help organize this a little bit better for the next one, so that we get.
I mean, there's not enough time for this mission with the blockchain as the back end for getting some of the sensor data. The blockchain really is going to be part of a lot of other things, and some of the things that they mentioned in the mission statement, like
this could be used by MUFON or all these other like NICAP or any of these other data collection organizations if they want to permanently store the data. Like the blockchain is.
But there's a lot of other functionality that needs to be built in there. So part of it is kind of vetting the data, authenticating it, so having a chain of custody, and then there's also the issue of misinformation. So how do you kind of weed out the bots, but also people who are intentionally trying to introduce misinformation into
bad actors.
And that's a problem that Facebook hasn't solved. So
Twitter hasn't solved it either.
But we will.
I don't know if YouTube's good on everything. YouTube solves everything, and they have no problems with their platform at all.
Yeah, except for YouTube, of course.
Right. They are perfect in every way. Anyways. Well, hopefully this talk's going to be starting soon. They got James from Skywatchers going to give a presentation here shortly. So
you're not giving it yet? I think he's there.
I think
over in there.
Not quite yet, but soon here. So that's what brings Ben here.
Yep.
And Ben, did you come here with anyone, or did you meet a bunch of folks here?
Just went around. You gotta stand by the sign, and then you self-organize. This is just a very organic process here.
Self-assimilation, self-assembly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, good thing that we're all self-assembling organisms. That's a good point. That's a good. I guess it works. It works out. So, guys, you missed out if you didn't come down here. Anyone in San Francisco, if you're not getting down here, then you're missing out. And that's how grassroots work. This is how things build up one step at a time. Thank you so much, Ben, for joining me. That was terrific. All right, guys. We'll be starting up the next stream soon, hopefully. Yeah, I know. A lot of people didn't have advanced, and it's also Easter weekend, so that throws a wrench in it for a lot of people that couldn't be here because it's damn Easter. These guys have all these PZT cameras here. That's what I was talking about over here. I wanted to zoom in. They got all these security cameras, and they're working on programming them and setting them up for a system where you can post these things in coordinated spots and then get them to focus on a single point in the sky using, geometric data. So if UAP flies over a military base, you can get all the cameras on the base to simultaneously direct towards that point. That would be pretty cool. This is cool. Should I strap myself into the chair and do this one?
And my model of consciousness.
These are just lights inside there. Those are just lights inside the glass. It's just a strobe light and lights inside of there. I just want to show people what goes on inside the glasses because they were curious.
Yeah. So
Let's see what you do. So you pulse it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So now we got some. What is that? Alpha, theta.
I don't actually know that one. I can tell you that this one starts alpha. That should be high alpha, and it goes down over the 60 minutes or 50 minutes to delta.
Okay.
So it trains you down.
And then is this use binaural beats in the headphones as well?
Binaural beats in the headphones, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So this is this entrains your eyes.
Yeah.
You can Google it. It's called the Ganzfeld effect.
Ganzfeld. How do you spell that?
Ganzfeld.
Got that, everyone? Ganzfeld, not the Gandalf effect.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's a little magical.
But it's still quite magical. Yeah, that's.
How many people are on this stream?
We got 120, about 117 right now. So
Cool stuff.
yeah, it's good stuff, man. This is about the same that are at the conference, really. Like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we're looking for developers. So if anyone was not actively in this hackathon, but you still want to collaborate on how consciousness may impact quantum phenomena and how we can maybe use that to communicate either with each other or to increase the predictive power of models. If you're interested in hard math and the Global Consciousness Project, we're a partner with them on that one. So if you want to participate in our project, we have a GitHub, Peace Inc. Peace Inc. GitHub. You can go there, look up our repos, read some more about it, or reach out to Leo Madrid here, this guy who invented most of this.
Leo Madrid, yeah, we talked to Leo earlier, and where did you buy the Faraday coil?
Yeah, Leo, where did you get this?
Amazon, $10.
Amazon, $10. See that?
I'm giving a shout out
So
to
tinfoil hats.
It's live streaming.
Very fashionable too.
Yeah, these are really cool. You can wear these to Renaissance fairs with your with next to your friend with the wizard hat.
Yeah, nice hat. Reminds me of the Banya hat.
The Banya hat? What's that one?
Oh, you know what a Banya is?
Banya?
But the Banya is like a Russian steam room, Russian hot sauna.
All right.
So the word is Russian, but they wear these hats that kind of look like that.
Like a sweat lodge.
It's like a sweat lodge, and they wear the hats to keep their heads from overheating.
All right.
And then, so there was Archimedes Banya in the city. It was a wonderful place. I think they shut down the restaurant in there, but they also still have a bunch of bats that you can go experience what that's like. And they also sell the Banya hats. And there's a name for them. I forgot what the name is. Well, the idea is that these floppy things would get rolled up, and then they would put it over their ears. Yeah, exactly. And that way it'll keep your head from overheating before the rest of your body is well baked. Well cooked.
Oh yeah, that way you don't get heat stroke.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's genius, huh? These guys had it down.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Like wizards. How about sauna wizards?
Sauna wizards. That's far out, man. Well,
and then they get creative with it. People could have like all kinds of like artistic hats for showing off at the Banya.
Oh yeah, right. They get like you got to have a better hat than the next
you
one.
do.
Keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Exactly. It's like their church. Some of the Cheetahs,
Yeah.
they go every Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
crazy Russians. They're wrestling bears and stuff over there, man. It's wild.
After you're getting out of the sauna.
After you get out of the sauna with your hat on, you take your bear inside the sauna with you.
Yeah, right. You wrestle it into the sauna. It calms down. It's like, oh, okay, maybe we can be friends.
All right, man. Well, man, it's like, where did everybody go? I think everyone's taking the tour of the aircraft carrier now or something, man. It really did empty out, and I thought there was going to be a presentation here soon. And I was
It is.
Yeah, right.
It is 3:30.
Yeah.
We have some more time until dinner, so maybe we're taking either an afternoon break.
Well, if I'm waiting for the presentation. I was going to live
What's
stream
the time for it?
But I thought it was starting up soon, but I don't know that. Oh wait, here. What's going in the back? Let's go check that out. I'm gonna go over there. But thanks. Hey, it was good talking to you, man. And nice meeting you guys once again. Global Consciousness Project. We need developers. We need more hackers on this project. So please reach out. Yeah, I think it's in there. I'm gonna go over there and try to film this now. Let's go check this out. There's other people over here hanging out.
Down here in the stills, after we saw this, we went back in our footage for the last week and we looked at what else we might have seen class ones, and we found them in proximity, apparently, to manned aviation. Right? So I can tell you firsthand, having flown in a helicopter chasing UAPs, never seen a UAP from the air, only from the ground and on radar with cameras on the ground. So are they invisible when you're at altitude with them? Can they modulate their visible spectrum so you can see? I believe possibly yes. Right? So this pilot, if he's looking out his cockpit window, might have no clue that because maybe he can't see. Right? Here's a video. This is the first time we saw them. 7 total, you'll see. They're flying in a formation. At the time of this video, I'm standing on the roof with several interns with binoculars looking for drones and airplanes. We heard nothing and saw nothing. It wasn't until my camera guy was like, "You got to come see this." Something just flew over us, and that was the Tetris. That's why it's class 1. It's the first one we saw. This is the class 3. Again, I just pulled a loose assortment of videos I don't think anybody has seen yet. This is the class 3 blob. You're going to see vibrating and pulsing. I don't know if on the iPad, if I can move like through to cue it up. I'll let it play for a minute or two, and you'll see it vibrating and pulsing. We are following it as it moves through the sky, and some of the movement is us, but the vibrating is all it. Right? It gets brighter. It vibrates really fast. So usually we'll see 1 to 2 of these per week, per month. Right? Usually we see them once and they don't come back. It's actually interesting that it's vibrating so hard as well as pulsing. You'll see like it seems to vibrate more when it gets speed, probably 20 for an instant, and it gets dim again. So it goes through pulse. So again, I'm more of an operations guy. I'm not the scientist or the physicist that can tell you what that means of why it's pulsing and flaring or why you're seeing those color variations. But it for sure is, right? Is it shining a light at us and that's why it's brighter? Is it moving away from us, that's why it's dimmer? I don't know, you tell me, right? As a Skywatcher team, we're working to understand the physics behind this. So it's definitely an interesting object, interesting class of UAP that's spectacular and defies any known physics for how it's moving through the sky silently, no contrail, and moving from point A to point B super fast. We know it's moving from point A to point B because we can see it on radar. It's moving tens of meters between each hop instantaneously. So that's the class 3. This is interesting. We were doing some work for the government where some RF jamming was occurring at certain frequencies. We were watching an orb in the sky above us. I'll let this play through. I think it's like the minute mark. I don't know if I can move the mouse or whatever and like make it queue up. I just have to let it play. If it'll play. Maybe technical issues here. You see. I'm gonna give Tim Cook a call, have that fixed. So what you would have seen in that video was, let me see if it'll go back. No, it won't go back. All right. If what you would have seen is the orb irising its iris signature. So we were watching it for hours, and then we would turn on the jammer, and when we energize certain frequencies, we would see the orb change from bright white down to just a couple pixels. And then we turn off the jammer and it gets bright white again, right? So we have to ask ourselves, okay, is the orb reacting to us? Is our equipment affecting our equipment in a way we don't understand and it's all just inside our own stuff? Like this isn't really happening, as in the orb is there, but it's not reacting to us. There's a lot of unknowns here because we don't have a lot of data, enough instances to really derive all the facts and understand completely, right? And civilians can't do jamming, so it's against the law. So you can only do it when you're doing it with the government, right? So it's a challenge. This is the class. Yeah, for like 4 hours. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Was the government not aware if someone else in the government was doing it or not? Like, are you sure it was like aliens?
Well, I've never said this is aliens.
Oh, okay.
I have no knowledge or belief of what it is, right? That's not true. I think there's some made in America. I think there's probably made in another nation, maybe one of our enemies. And I think there's probably unexplained, right? I don't know which belongs to which. So that's just based on anecdotal evidence, but we're completely open-minded to equipment problems, hybrid technology from America, something made in China or Russia, and a little green men. Like all options are on the table here. Yeah, this one definitely is interesting the way it looks. It vibrates and pulses. Again, the radar thinks it's a propeller moving in the sky when it vibrates, but then it'll kind of lose its excitement, get less bright, and stop vibrating. That's us chasing it. My camera operator. When they get right overhead of you, it's really hard to keep them in on screen. So forgive the that's all us. But I'll skip to the next video if it'll go. Maybe. Here's the same class of UAP on a different day. It's interesting to note atmospheric conditions change. Every time we're running operations, we'll see birds, planes, balloons, drones. We record all of that data because we think it's important to have, okay, I'm seeing this unknown object in the sky. And earlier that day, I saw drones and planes and birds in the same atmospheric conditions. So let me record the knowns so I can understand more about the unknown on that day in those conditions, right? So we have a very large library of prosaic objects in the sky that are very documentable and researchable to understand size, airspeed, ground speed, all that stuff, right? And RCS. So this will play through for a minute. This one really starts vibrating really hard. It's vibrating, it's not the camera. We know it's not the camera because we run tests. We've actually switched out camera balls just in case it was us. We're like checking. But we'll sit here and follow a drone or an airplane all day long and no vibrations. And then this UAP comes into the picture and it's vibrating really fast, really hard. So I'll let this play another minute or so. And then I think partway through, you see how it's appearing and disappearing? That's atmospheric conditions, I'm confident. We have this in multiple bands. So this is EO, or electro-optical.
Hey, James, can you put this on? For the recording? Appreciate you.
Yeah. So this is electro-optical. We have this as well in infrared, middle wave infrared, short wave infrared. So in those bands, you're not seeing it get dim. I'm pretty sure that's the dust or just the haze in EO preventing us from seeing it fully. So in other words, I don't think it's disappearing. So you see it like get excited, you know what I mean? Like it fills full of energy, makes a lot of bright colors, like a kaleidoscope or prism looking thing. And then it gets dim again, it's vibrating as much. And it goes through these cycles almost as if it's creating some kind of energy, and it rides that energy for a certain amount of time until some kind of system exhausts itself, and then it goes calm again. So is it a chemical reaction? Is it an engine? You know, who knows, right? So again, I need the science team to educate me on what that can mean. And we're looking for the right group to help us understand some of these things, right? We don't have all the answers. In fact, we have very few answers. We have a lot of questions, right? And we could probably diatribe all day on all the things we don't know, because the things we know are so few. I'll just play this for another minute.
Is that hovering?
No, it's moving through the sky.
How can you tell?
Because we can see it with the camera. Yeah. Normally, this is the clean view. Normally, there's a reticle here, GPS location, azimuth, angle. Like normally, the dirty view has all that, so you can actually see the data as it moves through.
And line is having more questions than answers. This whole phenomena is inquiring into the mystery. There's this phenomenal mystery going on. It invites us to ask, who are we and how are we asking questions? It's kind of in the direction of psionics. Could you say more about what's been changing, or how has that brought more excitement into your company, and what might be the next steps for that to inquire into all of the questions that are being asked?
So we've arrived at the dog whistle, and the dog whistle is to me an off or on switch. There's variations and flavors of it, and under the right conditions, we can do different things and attract different classes of UAPs that will behave differently. So they do react to the dog whistle, but the dog whistle is off or on, right? I either turn it on and UAPs come, or I turn it off and they don't come. Psionics were trying to arrive at a similar construct. Rather than understand how psionics works, why it works, we just want to know, does it work? Can I say yes, there's more high probability of exciting things or more UAPs to come or things to occur if psionics are present? Or do I have to say no, that they don't? It's an off or on, it's a yes or no for us. All the shades of maybe, we're not really worried about the maybes. Like, it's such a complex topic that it's really hard to unravel the truth into full truth. We just want to know, is it a yes or a no on probability of it being successful or not successful for UAP activity. So to that degree, we have psionics on our team. And like I said earlier, since we've involved psionics, things have become more exciting. What do I mean by that? We ran an event in February where the jellyfish that I showed you earlier was flying through the airspace. First it flew high, then it flew low, then it flew all around us in different flavors over different days, 3 to 5 times per day. So like on the 4th day, it hovered over us for like 5 minutes, which you'd never seen. And it also affected our equipment, which you'd never seen from a jellyfish. So things that had never happened before happened when psionics were present. Now, is that because there's so many variables we don't know until we do it in number of times if those variables, which of those variables change to cause the reaction, right? So as we move locations, which we do often, we're not Skinwalker Ranch. We don't need a place to stay. We don't have a home base. Geolocate us all you want. Like, do care, because now I have to move my equipment to keep the baddies out of my stuff. But don't care, because we're just going to go somewhere else anyway, already scheduled and planned. So location is agnostic to us. But it is a variable. If I'm moving locations because I'm not Skinwalker Ranch, am I now introducing more noise so I can't reach the right conclusions? So it's really a difficult subject to unravel, especially on the psionic side. So we are completely open-minded, right? We try to keep our personal beliefs out and focus on the data and the science.
So what's the frequency of it walking?
So the jellyfish, we don't know what frequency they're on. We haven't measured it. We haven't observed it. We just have noted that when they are in our vicinity, our electronics cannot connect over networks. So we think that they're inducing some kind of interference through our shielded cables, double shielded cables, to cause our remote equipment, as in 100 meters away, to disconnect from us, right? Unlike the class 6 hits us with directed energy attacks and turns off our equipment. We've measured that.
Do you know what frequency the direct energy is at? Like, is it
Yes.
a microwave maser?
It's a microwave signal. So
That's insane.
I have no idea. Like, you tell me,
Good question, yeah.
is it the government? That's a really good question. Mike. But let me tell you this. There are instances where UAPs have apparently acted against our intentions. The one time the class 6 zapped us, one of these, in fact, this might be the video, zapped us with an EW weapon. Somebody in our group had their own EW weapon. It was aiming it at it. Yes, and before that energy weapon could be pointed at that thing, it zapped us.
James, was the intent to aim it at the thing? Like, do you think it could preempt?
I don't know. It happened once, and again, civilians can't use energy weapons. Right. The government can, I can't.
Yeah.
And you have to have the right conditions.
Recommended.
Yeah, you have to have the right conditions to test the hypothesis. And frankly, if it zapped me back or before it was zapped,
right?
Because I was at the vehicle when it happened.
Right.
We had 3 or 4 disparate systems not connected. They all powered OFF off together. And the last thing we saw was a very specific waveform, a very specific protocol at such high energy levels that it turned everything off. Right?
Do you think we can produce those frequencies with the energy like that we produce? Like, because one of the biggest problems with directed energy weapons right now is that you need like nuclear power for like the really.
No, you think of EMP. I'm talking about high energy microwave.
Gotcha.
There's a difference.
Gotcha.
So think like a transceiver, like a radio transceiver with an amplifier, throwing out 1,000+ watts on a narrow band directional antenna.
Gotcha.
So
very powerful, concentrated, like literal microwave energy.
Yeah.
So like the kind that would knock satellites out of orbit.
No, I don't know if they do that, but powerful enough to interfere with electronics and cosmos.
What would that be?
Counter protests in some countries.
No, I hope not, because it'll cook your brain, right?
They did it in
So-
Serbia recently.
Yeah, that was a different kind of weapon. But yes,
Was that a sign?
it was a sonic weapon.
Sonic, okay.
So if you can tell me how to do that, I would love to get immunity. But I can tell you the FCC and the FAA don't play games. And if you start messing with things in the sky that are flying, you go to jail for that. That's not a like, oh, whoops. That's like, no, put these handcuffs on. DOJ is going to arrest you now, and you're going to jail.
No, but
So-
like ask them to stop shooting you. Like you don't have to shoot them. But just ask them.
Nobody told me they were going to do it. Right? They just did it. So yeah, so that's the class 6. Quite mysterious. We've seen a bunch of these over the years. We've probably seen 30 or 40 of these, usually in groupings of. Usually they're by themselves, right? Not in groups. I don't know if this thing will go forward or not. All right, this is a group of class 1s flying in formation. My guy that discovered these actually thought it was a stealth bomber. I guess it's not going to play. I don't know. You got any magic tricks for an iPad to play video? I can take if we take a break, I can get the actual video itself and put it on the computer and show that too.
Yeah, we can do that.
So-
we do have the projector on the big screen too.
I think it's because it's trying to upscale the image to this TV, and I think that's crashing the GPU or whatever. So, basically, what you're going to see or would see is there's about 20 or 23. I forget. I counted all the dots one time. They're flying in a V formation, and what's really interesting is as they fly, they're not flying that fast. They'll fly for about 2 minutes, and then the UAPs on the edges here, one here and one here, will start to look like they become unstable and then fall out of the formation. And when they do, the whole formation falls apart. This big gaggle looks like a shotgun blast in the sky. They all fall apart, right? And they stay that way for about 30 seconds. And then they reassemble back into the V, right? And they do that over and over. They're doing things that birds don't do. You know, I'm not hanging my hat on this. If someone comes along and says birds, okay, it's birds. I don't think it's birds. It's doing things. They're flying in ways I don't see birds flying. So, yes. Yep. Yep. In fact, later on, they don't form the complete V. They form like a bat-looking symbol. I don't know, Batman's up there, or like a bird. Like a big drawing of a bird. So they don't always get back in their clean formation. Yes, sir. Yes. Yep. Our psionics team. Understand, I'm isolated from my psionics team, right? On purpose.